Good evening and welcome to the Housing Committee meeting. Today is Monday, April 24th, 2023. Voting members to my left, Councilor at Large Rich Russell, and Councilor to my right, Councilor District C, Gregory del Rosario. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting of the Housing Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that person who would like to listen or to view this meeting while in progress might either attend in person at the location above or use one of the following access locations: the Lawrence City Council page or the YouTube City Council page. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilor, at this time we have no meeting to approve, and we have a few items that we'd like to discuss. We have one item in particular that we'd like to take out of order, which is item 12823, which is the direct disposition of 8 Bradford Place, map lot 166, lot 26. So, councilors, can I get a motion to take that out of order?
So move.
All right, there's a motion on the table, properly second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. The ayes have it. All right, we have item 12823, which is the direct disposition of 8 Bradford Place. It was put together by Francisco Cirillo, the Assets Officer of the City of Lawrence. So, Francisco, name and address for the record and explain to us a little bit more about this direct disposition.
Thank you, Council Chair. Francisco Cirillo, Asset Officer for the City of Lawrence, 824 Riverside Drive, Methuen, working out of Office of Planning and Development, 12 Methuen Street. Right now before you is, I'm bringing 8 Bradford Place back for direct disposition to the Lawrence Family Charter School. And I also have with me is Superintendent Ralph Carrero for the Lawrence Family Day Charter School, who Development. That was also here to answer some questions as well as his vision for the property.
Thank you. All right, we have in front of us, we have a lot that is located on 8 Bradford Place. In the City of Lawrence, the lot area is 3,107 square feet. The deed reference for the lot is book 10095, page 356. The zone is residential. I2. The lot is currently vacant. The assessed value of this property, located on 8 Bradford Place, is $2,200. The estimated annual tax to the City of Lawrence will be about $25 a year. So please tell Superintendent Carrero, please tell us a little more about what is the plan that you have for this parcel.
Thank you, Councilor. Ralph Carrero, Superintendent Director, Lawrence Family Development Charter School, 34 West Street, my place of address that I don't sleep at, but I live there, right? The property before you, councilors, 8 Bradford Place, as Mr. Cirillo said, is a vacant lot, and it has been a vacant lot for as many years that I can remember. However, it does sit directly across the campus of our upper school that's located at 400 Haverhill Street. But the back area crosses around West Street and hugs that corner on Bradford Street. Our use of the property is going to be to clean it up and hot top it to try to decongest the, particularly the dismissal in the afternoon when our buses come into that area. As you may know, it's a high-traffic area because of all of the schools that are located there. But by us being able to purchase that property, we'll be able to make a full connection so that the buses can loop through there and alleviate some of the congestion that we have with the neighbors on Bradford Street, which is the business. I believe there's several trucks that come in inside of there. I don't know what the business name is, but it goes from Bradford Street right across to Lowell Street, if you know which business that is. Our buses come around Broadway and actually park on Bradford Street, so it makes it extremely difficult for trucks or customers to come in the afternoon in that area. Part of the reason why we're interested in buying that property, again, is to decongest that area, but the Department of Education did grant us the approval to expand the school, and we're in the middle of that expansion now. Over the course of the last year, we expanded our 10 Railroad Street site and built out the other half of Railroad Street. We're also looking to try to alleviate some of that traffic by creating on May Street what used to be the consistent water place, of creating some stairs that come down to help alleviate the corner of Railroad Street and Haverhill Street, and we'll be looking at some of those plans in the summer. So in the whole scheme of the expansion in that area, we're mindful of the fact that it is getting congested. We have schools up and down that street. You have Lawrence Public Schools has their Oliver School currently at St. Mary's. You have Community Day also dismissing at the corner of Hampshire and Haverhill Street, and then a little further down, families have to cut down Franklin Street in order to get to Bellassini Academy. And then you have our schools that are located on Haverhill Street. So we understand how difficult it is to try to get through Haverhill Street. So we're conscientious and cognizant of the fact that we have to come up with some plans to help alleviate some of the traffic there. So I hope that you look at it as favorable, and as I said, we will be cleaning it up. There's no building that's going there. It's just going to help us alleviate a lot of the traffic that we have there.
Councilors, any questions regard to this direct disposition? And by the way, I have one quick question once we go through the questions. Any questions on this? Councilor Rosso?
You were the only abutter to this piece of property, correct?
No, sir.
I see it all over the place, and then I see it moving around, making a 90-degree turn.
The business that's
So,
there.
Mike,
The,
there's a business there as well, and I believe that's, and I can't go into much details on that, but I believe that's also being, in the process of being sold, that business, the whole complex. One of the things, there was another abutter, but based on looking at the best use for the property, that didn't go through as a sale.
no, I mean, I'm looking at the map, and I see Oliver Place, and then I see it making a left-hand turn along the face of the property. So I'm assuming there is no abutter, private owner abutting the property. You were the only people that abutted. And as for your comments about traffic in that area in the afternoon, I live in the neighborhood. I know what it's like. So whatever you can do, do it. You got my vote for it right now.
We appreciate your patience.
Thank you. And it's not just the buses, there's also the parents that park on that side, so this makes it easier for them to turn around as they're picking up their children, as well as the buses. So it alleviates the traffic and the congestion that happens in that area.
All right, any other question? I have a question. Why are you using the direct disposition and not the yard sale program?
Actually, we could do the yard sale, but talking to Mr. Carrero, he preferred, and it's actually cheaper for him to do the direct disposition.
Just wondering, okay. All right, councilors, if it's not a question, I'll entertain a motion at this point.
You make the motion. I'll make the motion.
All right, motion to send it to the full council with a favor?
The full council, yes.
With a favorable recommendation.
With a favorable recommendation.
All right,
Hey,
there
second.
is a motion on the table, properly second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. All right, thank you so much. See you
Tuesday?
next month. No, next.
May 2nd?
Next week. First Tuesday next week.
The month. All right.
Thank you.
Another item, to item 12723, which is the land transfer from the city of Lawrence to the Boulevard Cemetery. It is located on Highgate and also on Main Street. The property located on Highgate Street is map 210, lot 15, and the one located on Main Street is map 189, lot 19. It was put together by Daniel McCarthy. He's not here with us today, but we have Francisco Sorello in front of us. So Francisco, tell us more about this property.
Good evening, once again. Highgate is, as you said, is lot 210, lot 15, and they both abut the cemetery. The cemetery right now is getting congested, and it's looking for more space for the cemetery. One of the things is they're also looking for area where they could have, talking to the director of the cemetery, is where they could put veterans. So Main Street is definitely unbuildable in the way it is, and both lots are definitely need to be upkept. I recommend this transfer to, because it's from one department to another, but they still have to vote on accepting the board. Their board still has to, although we transfer from here, their board has to accept the transfer. As well as they put plots on it, the city gets a percentage of each plots that gets put into these locations.
Okay. It is a straight transfer, so that means that they present as a city department or part of the city, they present interest to the to those two lots.
Yes.
Any questions, Council? All right, I'm gonna read that for the record. I'm gonna read some information in regard to the both of the lots. The parcel located on Main Street, it's about 9,542 square feet. The one on Hillgate Street, it's about 13,502 square feet.
On what street? Highgate is 13,049 square feet.
Okay, that currently located on the one on Main Street with it's a current vacant lot. The access value for this property is $165,500. The estimated annual tax revenue, if it goes to any other particular seller, not to the cemetery, will be approximately $1,893.33. The current zoning is a residential R3. The tax map is 189 lot 19. The other property, the other parcel right around there, the Highgate, the tax map is 210 lot 15. The lot area is about 13,049 square feet. The zone is a residential 2. and it is currently a vacant lot. The assessed value for this lot is about $169,200. The estimated annual revenue, if it goes to another seller, not to the cemetery, will be approximately $1,135.65. So it is important to recognize that those two lots are two buildable lots that we actually,
Bless you. Yes,
two buildable lots that we transfer over to the cemetery. And those are located in residential 3 and residential 2. Councilors, any question with regard to this? I have a quick question. In terms of the transfer, I know that we accept a property coming from the Lawrence Redevelopment Authority to the city of Lawrence. And there was a special vote that we need to take. I know that we need to consult it with the city attorney.
correct.
And now that we're doing the transfer to another organization within the city of Lawrence, I think that we need to take into consideration some things that is not as common as a regular deed of disposition, or perhaps a regular sale that we do for any particular parcel.
As well as a transfer to another city department, because this department has a board. So the board has to vote on the acceptance of the transfer on their end as well.
No, but on our end, do we need to take any specific vote in terms of transferring those parcels to the cemetery? And if it is any specific wording that need to be said on those votes? So I think that if we send it up to the full council, we have to have some type of recommendation from the city attorney.
Correct. So my suggestion is probably send it up as a committee report. At the full council, we could, I could have the city attorney draft something up and bring it down with us. That way we could have the actual vote there. And if any clarity needs to be done, we could have it before then. As you stated earlier, Councilor, this document wasn't sent down by me, or we would have all that before we started having this
That's
conversation.
fine. This is the first time that we're transferring from one department to another department, any type
In
of
a long
property.
time, yeah.
A long time. So we have received property, but not transferring necessarily.
Yeah.
All right, councilors, any questions, any motion at this point?
There's a motion to approve and send it to the full council as a community report.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, there is a motion on the table to send it to the full council as a committee report, properly second. I call the question at this point if there is any questions. There is none, so I call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
For the full council, I'll make sure that I'll talk to city attorney tomorrow and make sure that we get the documentation we need, or a letter of recommendation from him for, before the council meeting.
Thank you so much. Councilors, at this point, we have no other item. I entertain any other type of motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, I call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. have Councilor at Large Anna Levy. To my left, Councilor at Large Anna Levy. To my right, we have Councilor District E, Stephanie Infante. And also to my right, I have Councilor District C, Gregory Del Rosario. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that a person who would like to listen or to view this meeting while in progress might either attend in person at the location above or any of the following access locations: the Lawrence City Council Facebook page, as well as the YouTube City Council Facebook page. There is no minute at this point, but before that, I would like all of you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilors, we have a few items tonight that we need to discuss. Three, to be specific. One of the new items that we would like to discuss is item 12523, which is the authorization to spend funds of $132,380 coming from the Transportation Infrastructure Enhancement Trust Funds. It was put together by the DPW Director, Jorge Jaime. So, Director Jaime, please, if you can state your name and address for the record and explain to us a little bit more about these $132,380.
So, Jorge Jaime, 200 Common Street, the DPW Director. So I'm requesting the authorization to spend $132,380 that was given to us by the Commonwealth Transportation Infrastructure Enhancement Trust Funds. Those funds, comes from those new tax companies like Uber, Lyft, and they provide funds to the communities that they are giving the service, and those funds haven't been used, and this year we're presenting, in front of you, the request to use these funds to do all the markings around the downtown area. So I think it's gonna be good, for the pedestrians to be able to have no crosswalks, and for the drivers to have the double yellow line, and even to mark the spaces for the parking around, for the parking spaces around the downtown area or the middle area right now.
Councilors, we have $132,380 coming from the different apps, transportation companies, to establish different type of payment markings around the downtown area. Any questions in regard to this? I hear none. I have Councilor Infante.
Hi, good and you?
Can you clarify a little bit here in your memo? It says that these pavement markings are capable of conveying information during inclement weather events and evening hours. Can you just explain how that would be possible?
So that was a plus that we put there. So it's to use a better painting. So like yes, better technology on the lightings. Because we thinking now in provide the bike lines in most of the areas that we are able to do it, and that paint has certain codes that we have to follow, and that's why we put those specs there, so to be able to put, the best that we have in the market right now.
Councilor Levy?
This is the yellow paints that we put it around?
The what?
The yellow paint.
The yellow, double yellow lines, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And the crosswalks are white.
All Yes, I know that we need it very soon.
So, so that, we call it epoxy. That's the best paint that we have right now to do double yellow lines. It's durable and is better. They reflective, and I think it's gonna be the best.
How durable is that paint?
Probably 5 to 6 years.
5 to 6 years?
Yes.
I saw in one of the S3, I think so that was, I'm sorry. So I think so that was XX3 and Jackson Street that at one point they put some like that was like some kind of red paint, but I don't think so that this is what's to.
We're gonna address those issues so that, during the winter time, so the plow goes over and peel the paint. But we are now using a different one. It's called epoxy, and that one is more difficult for the plow
Just to take it away? Okay, thank you so much.
All right, I have a few questions. So you're using epoxy paint?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought that the best use for that was thermoplastic.
No, thermoplastic, it happens what is happening over here, that when you plow, you just take it out of the, the pavement, and that's no more durable than the epoxy. The epoxy is more durable than the thermoplastic.
Are you planning on doing the grinding or just the paint?
So yeah, we have to do the grinding when we redo the streets. Every new streets, we planning in doing the grinding in those main streets. So we cannot spend that money on those side streets that they don't even need some lines sometimes. But where we have
On this
thermoplastic, we cannot apply that paint where we have thermoplastic. So if we have thermoplastic, like on Common Street, we have to go with thermoplastic. If we want to apply something else, we have to get rid of the one that is there and then reapply the paint.
No, for this project, are you planning on doing any grinding or just for new streets?
Just new streets.
Okay, so this one is not gonna have
No.
the grinding, okay. All right, councilors, any questions?
To send to the full council.
All right, there's a motion on the table, properly second, discussion. There is none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Director Jaime. We have another item today, two more specifically. Item 13023, which is the transfer of fund from capital reserve to new account for capital improvement related expenses for the total amount of $1,218,833. It was put together by Mark Ayanello, our CAFO. Mark, name and address for the record, and please explain to us a little more.
Sure, Mark Iannello, I'm the CAFO for the city. I'm here at 200 Common Street. This is something we do every year since 2012. Chapter 58 of the Acts of 2010 require us to set aside 1.5% of our tax levy in a capital reserve account. We do that as part of our budget process, so that's a line item in our operating budget. We have to come back down to the council to transfer funds from that line item to a capital reserve fund to fund specific projects. So that's what we're doing here today. The $1,218,000 has already been appropriated. We're just asking you to take it from that line item and now put it in specific line items so we can spend it. So the request, most of this money is going to DPW. So the DPW director is here if you have any questions. And then there's $200,000 that's going for IT. There's a new phone system and the firewall needs to be replaced. So that's a significant amount of money, so we set aside approximately $200,000 to complete those projects. And then there's $618,000 for capital improvements, which are buildings, infrastructure, and other improvements that Jorge may need to complete. $200,000 for purchasing recycling bins, and then there's $200,000 for, again, for vehicle replacements at DPW, however far the $200,000 will go. So those are the four line items we're asking it to be transferred from and into these four accounts, and that's those accounts will be, or those transfers will be made before the end of the year, and then those accounts will be open until the funds have been expended. So we don't have to worry about the funds being returned back to the general fund.
Chair, I would like to excuse myself.
Councilor De Rosario have excluded himself from the discussion. Please notice. Mr. Ianello, you mentioned 1.5 of the total levy is set aside for that, for those?
1.5% of the total levy. So the calculation, it's in the, I put the verbiage from the act, special act in the preamble here, and it's 1.5% of the prior year's tax levy is $1,218,833. And that's what we put in the FY23 budget as a line item.
Councilors, any questions in regard to this item? Oh, I have a few questions. Is the director, the DPW director still here? How you doing again? So I would like to get a little bit more details on that 618,000. In general, how many bins we're going to be getting with the 200,000 for recycling? If you have that info, if you're not, just take those notes.
So the bins, we had to go to a state vendor. The state is recommending certain companies that they sell the bins, but with those $200,000, maybe we can negotiate that amount and have a pilot program and go to certain neighborhoods and give them, and probably in the next budget fiscal year we can buy more, and little by little be adding those bins that everybody's coming to City Hall and asking for them, but we just provide those little ones. That means like we are telling them just do a little bit, and that's it. We want to provide something bigger than the trash bins, and motivate them to do recycling, and that's with the $200,000, around $40 each, let's say.
Like around how many total bins? I mean, if you don't have the amount right now, we can later on tell us when we go to the full council.
If we can get it at, we can get maybe a couple of thousand, 5,000.
About what, 13,000 housing loans?
Around 13,000 stops.
All right, and for the vehicles, how far you think you can go with 200, and what are you gonna buy?
So we definitely need to continue buying trucks because we have more employees now, and I think if we can continue adding more vehicles to our department, we're able to cover more with our employees, like during the snow removals. If we have more vehicles, we are able to cover more with inside, with in-house, and I think that's gonna be a good asset for the department.
Be 2 trucks, 1 truck?
Let's say right now, a truck with a plow on and the sander in the back, stainless steel body is around $98,000.
And the 618,000 for capital improvements, what is the plan for that?
So as you see, we are doing some repairs around City Hall. So we're fixing the bricks, we had to reset the curving, and we're doing the study to, repave Common. And that's just a little bit of the projects that we have right now. So we're doing a sidewalk project on Ferry Street, which is one of the entrances to the city of Lawrence. We are doing a lot of, pricing on a lot of sidewalks that we receive like on an everyday basis from residents, and I think those are very expensive sidewalks and things like that. I think it's not a lot, but it's gonna cover,
So basically you're gonna continue doing the operation for that DPW?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, councilors, any questions in regard to this transfer? I hear none, so I entertain a motion at this point.
Motion to send to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Second.
There is a motion on the table, properly second. Any questions? There is none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you, councilors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's up?
All right, hello, yeah, this one works.
Hello?
All right, councilors, we have item 13823, which is the collaboration between the Greatest Lawrence Technical School and the City of Lawrence. The aviation program purchase of a hangar for about $300,000. This is put together by the Superintendent, John Lavoy, and the Mayor of the City of Lawrence, Brian De Peña. So, Superintendent, welcome again. Thank you for coming. Name and address for the record, please.
John Lavoy, Superintendent, Greater Lawrence Technical School.
All right, we're very excited to see this item here.
It's good to be here.
All right, tell us more about how we're going to spend this $300,000, what is behind, and tell us a little more about the program as well.
Okay, so we got final approval to start an aviation program about a month ago. It was a one-year process. And we also received a $4 million capital skills grant to get the program started for structures. So at the school, we're building a hangar on site, and we're building a new shop addition to the school where we'll do repairs and on aircraft in the shop itself. So we've got 2 buildings going up on the site to support the program. It's one of 3 programs that were approved. The one thing that we don't have is a hangar out at the airport, and we sought to purchase a hangar. There's only one hangar for sale out there. Very difficult to find hangars in the airport. But anyways, the problem for GLTS, the reason we can't purchase the hangar was because our charter from 1960, when it was first put together, does not allow us to buy property outside of 57 River Road. Not something we knew until we went to buy the hangar, that was the case. Nor can we lease property outside of 57 River Road. So we are in the process of working with Frank Moran and putting a bill through to get that changed. But in the interim, what we were looking for, the city to purchase a hangar that's for sale out at the airport and allow GLTS to run its educational program in the hangar. The hangar itself is 50 by 60. It's part of a condominium situation. There are 2 other hangars attached to it. One of the challenges, once we own the hangar, we'll also have to have approval from the Airport Commission, which is overseen by the City of Lawrence as well, to operate the school. But the first step is, in order to do that, we need to have we need to own the hangar itself. Now, the reason we think it's important to have a hangar out at the airport is we teach the kids in real life situations, and repairing airplanes out at the airport gives the students the experience as if it's right out there in industry, just as we do every other career. We have programs such as carpentry, build a house, all our construction trades work off-site, all our health programs go to the different hospitals and different locations, so we're always simulating real job opportunities, so the hangar would provide that. Also, once we've done any repairs on aircraft, we would be able to test fly them where we wouldn't be able to do that at the school. So we'll do the lower grades at the school at 57 River Road, and the 11th and 12th grade students out at the airport. So that would be a key component of it. We will purchase probably 3 aircrafts. We have 1 already and have bid on a second one. This would allow us to locate 2 of the aircraft right out at the Lawrence Airport right from the beginning of the program. We will have to renovate the hangar, probably approximately, we figure we'll have to put about $200,000 to $250,000 invest in the structure itself once the city owns it, to bring it up to educational standards and meet all the guidelines, state guidelines, and also the North Andover, town of North Andover building codes for educational learning space. So we have, as part of our capital skills grant money, already have the funds in place to do that work. So we can start that immediately once it's possible, if the city's willing to purchase it and allow us to use it. At some point, once we have a bill passed, our goal is to then purchase it back from the city. So that it would be basically purchasing it now, and then once we get a bill passed and allows us to purchase property, then we would be looking to purchase and probably put that in some kind of agreement so that the city would get its investment back at a time when once we are able to do that.
Very excited to hear that. I'm very cool. I'm glad this is happening.
FAA is, we've been close partners with them. They have a person that's assigned to our school to work with us to get the program up and running and help us guide through all our curriculum. And so we have a consultant that teaches now at Westfield, who's been working with us in developing curriculum to meet FAA guidelines, as well as Department of Education guidelines for Chapter 74. So we're well on our way in having that completed, and we've got right now 5 candidates that have applied for first-year position. Next year we'll be running just the 9th grade exploratory. This will allow us to bring in another approximately 80 students over the next 4 years. So right now we have 1,700 students. Next year we're planning to go to 1,800. Once the 3 new programs are in place, we'll be close to 2,000 students. So we're continuing to grow and increase our student population. Thank you.
Councilor Infante.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chair, I have one question. I have a question for Mr. Ionel, if he's still here, and also for Superintendent Lavoy. this. Is this, okay. Hi, Superintendent.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. Yourself?
Good. Question about the job market itself. What is, can you give us a quick high-level overview of how the aviation job market demand looks like right now and how it would be like beneficial to have this in the city
Sure.
of Lawrence?
So in order to meet the, we had to do a feasibility study to get this program approved, and one of the criteria is to show that there is a strong job market in order for this Department of Ed to approve it. So originally, we weren't sure that the job market was there, but after meeting with several different industry people in the area as well throughout Boston and working with FAA, we have found that there is a strong job market. Plus, one of the advantages to the aviation industry is there are a lot of pathways. The training will provide not only training within the industry of aviation, but also in a lot of the skill sets are correlated and aligned to robotics, mechanics, mechanical, robotic engineering, and not so much engineering, but technicians, because of the drone industry as well, has a pathway that aligns with the industry as well. So with all the crossover industries, as well as in talking with the different big companies like JetBlue and some of the other industries, they assure us that there is a strong market for, there's a strong need to find skilled labor that can do engine repair and frame repair. We'll start the program off with frame repair because that's the recommendation we've had from both FAA and from the people in the industry that we've spoken to, but we feel like there is a good job market to place students upon graduation, and we feel like there's a strong interest, student interest as well in our surveys that we've done.
Thank you. My second question to you, Superintendent, you mentioned that one of the challenges the school is facing pertains to your charter. Who is responsible in reviewing the charter? Who makes those changes so that the school doesn't face similar challenges in the future? How
Yeah,
does that
so
process look
we're
like?
working with our attorney. So our attorney reviewed our charter when we looked to purchase this. We had put an offer in on this particular hangar, and then when we went to bring the attorneys together, he researched our charter and realized that we were not able. So he's already provided some language to put a bill together that would allow us to purchase and lease property that we no longer can now. So we're actually meeting with, I'm meeting with Frank Moran and the attorney later this week to start putting that, start that process. It usually takes about a year, but we're hoping we can get it done quicker.
So essentially, the Greater Lawrence Technical School charter is changed at the state level, like the cities and towns have no authority over it, correct?
The charter has to be approved by the cities and towns, so we'll write the bill, have it approved by each of our cities and towns, and so it's a process both for our cities, and first the school committee has to approve it, then goes to city and towns, and at the same time, then once they've approved it, then we can process the bill through the legislative process.
Okay, thank you. And then my third question is for Mr. Iannello. Hi.
Hi.
Mr. Iannello, where is the $300,000 coming from the city?
I don't know, it's the first I've heard of it. I've looked at there's nothing in there's no memo, I don't know where, is it a transfer from free cash? I don't know, I don't see a cover letter. I'm not sure how the clerk came up with the 300,000, because it's not in the memo, so I'm not really sure. I assume maybe there was a conversation with Ms. Lavoy and came up with the 300,000, is that where, is the 300,000 a good number, or is that just somebody's?
That's the offer.
That was the offer that they had, but then discovered they couldn't purchase it because of the charter. But I don't know, is this coming from free cash? Is it coming from some available funds? I don't really know. I don't know anything about it.
Can you provide us that information, please, when you further into
I mean, I have to talk to the mayor's office, I suppose. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I assume they communicate with the mayor's office. I don't know where the plans are. Is it coming from free cash? Is it coming from those funds that have already been appropriated from free cash? But they need to come back to the city council to use. It might be coming from that source of funds. I really don't know what the mayor's intentions are.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Rosario.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. I just wanted to thank you for being here, and I don't get tired of congratulate you, and also the institution that you're running, due to the fact that you guys do so much with so little. As a father of a graduate from Greater Lawrence, which she now lives in Louisiana, and she owns her own 2 salons down there. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of your work there. And my question is, how many kids have pressed, or how many young kids have pressed interest in this program? And I want to thank also my colleague Rodriguez. Councilor Rodriguez has been a big advocate on this program, the aviation program at the airport. So how many kids have show interest into this, if you have a number?
Yeah, so in order to, again, have this program approved, we have to show that there is student interest in the program. So we surveyed our 9th grade class, the existing class, whether they would be, how many would be interested in such a program. We have about 450 freshmen. Of the 450 freshmen, about 220 students said they would be interested in pursuing this particular program. And also, when we go to our middle schools, we survey students when we do visits to the middle school. We also do survey those kids, and there was a very high, substantial number of students that showed interest in the program. So I think we'll probably have more students interested in the program than we'll have seats. The program will, when it's in its 4th year of inception, we'll have about 80 students in the program. And just to give you an example, some of our, like this year, we had a plumbing program that had about 110 students for 25 seats this year after the exploratory. And so we have about 5 or 6 that are very popular like that. And they tend to be mechanical type programs that are very popular. Automotive was another one that was very popular. Of course, all the medical programs as well. But we're seeing a trend where kids are becoming more and more interested in the mechanical type programs, working with their hands and being able to, so I think the interest will be very high.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Levy.
Thank you, Council Chair. Thank you for all the works that you are doing with all of these kids, getting them out from the street, let's say, because when they take something different from the school, I think so that they are more capable to learn and to do something that maybe can help them, you know, after, instead of being outside and doing things, they are still doing other things at the school. But my question is why the city need to buy the
Hangar?
Yes, the hangar.
Yeah.
And why the vocational cannot buy it? What is?
The city needs to buy the hangar
Yeah, I know. Let me see.
because Greater Lawrence Tech cannot buy the hangar because of state laws, and our charter doesn't allow it, so prevents us from buying it. So the only way we could possibly run the school is if the city would purchase it and allow us to utilize it for educating the students. The advantage to the city is that we'll be able to provide at least 80 more students an opportunity to come to GLTS and train them in a career that will offer them well above livable wage. which is what we're always looking for, and particularly for our students. Our goal is not to train our kids for low-paying jobs, but to have livable wage jobs, because that's what's going to make the city of Lawrence a strong community. And so this is one of those programs that we feel very strongly about the future of students in this program having great success when they're completed. And we're looking at it as only basically a temporary situation. We intend on, buying back the hangar from the city if at the time they're willing to sell it back to us. So it's only because we can't buy it. But the reason also it's so important is that it's a one-time opportunity. Hangars just do not come up. We were very, very fortunate that this hangar is for sale. And it was on the market for I think it was $320. He had a few offers for like $275. He wouldn't take them. I asked him first if he would donate it to us, but he didn't want to do that. So then we settled on $300,000. But that's why we're not capable of purchasing it. But we still want to be able to have that experience. Is irreplaceable right out there at the airport, training kids right there. Would make the world a difference. We'll have to invest a lot of money into it, but we plan on making it a #1 rated program in the state, Commonwealth. We really feel strongly that this is going to be an exciting program for our community, for the school, for the city, for young people who pursue this career.
Thank you. By the city owning that hangar, so what is the liability of the city by that, if something happened there?
Liability?
Yes.
So we would have liability insurance. The city would also have to have liability insurance, given that they own the facility. They would be owning the facility, but then we would also have insurance as well, liability insurance, and all insurance required by law in an educational institution. So it would be well insured to both for our students' ability to work there legally and meet all state regulations with regards to the kinds of insurance necessary to work out there, as well as any insurance that the airport might require of us to bring students out on the property. There are a lot of safety and other issues that we'll be working out with the Airport Commission to ensure safety for not only for students, but for the airport operation, which is critically important. So we're well aware of that and plan on, and we've already looked at an engineer that we have that has a lot of experience, architect engineer in aviation hangar work and designing and meeting safety regulations within an airport. So we'll meet all the standards and ensure that we maintain the safest facility we can, both for the city and for the students themselves.
So besides the cost of the hangar, will the city also incur like a maintenance cost?
I guess I didn't hear you clearly.
Then,
Main costs
Yes.
would be the initial cost of the building, and then any maintaining of the building and all of that would be the responsibility of the school. We'll put all kinds of like we need to put bathroom facilities, any fire security, any kind of safety security that you would typically have in a building, alarm systems that you would have in any school building. All that has to be done. All the technology that has to be done also to maintain an institution as if it were in a school, high-tech information. So we'll be investing a lot just in the security of the facility itself, from fire to other hazards.
Thank you. I see that this is a great program, and I know that a lot of students is going to enjoy that new tech.
Thank you.
That is coming, to this.
Thank you.
Sent.
Thank you very much. Hey, Superintendent.
Hi, Mark.
Hey. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So first of all, kudos to everybody who's involved in this. What a fantastic aspirational program. If we can pull this thing off, that'd be great. So I want you to know through you, Mr. Chairman, that this is something that I think is fantastic for the residents. We start off with that. I want to support this. I also think that we should be thinking of this all the way through as well. So let me ask a couple of tough questions so that we all can put some things on the table. When we talk about purchasing this for the $300,000-ish, are there condo fees associated with this? Who's going to be paying for the additional costs? I know you just talked about bathrooms and renovations. I'm presuming that's all in kind that you're providing. But the condo fees, if there are such, and I'm not sure how much those are, who's paying, how much are they, and who's going to be paying for those, for that? And I got another question after that.
So we would, any condo fees, we would intend on paying any condo fees. Any fees associated with the property, taxes, whatever it might be, we would be reimbursing. Our intent is to reimburse the city.
The other thing is that through you, Mr. Chairman, the superintendent was talking about one of the biggest, and there's a couple of big boosters here, but one of the other big boosters is Representative Moran, for the longest time, of course, and that he's going to introduce legislation that's going to facilitate allowing this acquisition to take place. But in the meantime, we are going to have to put up some money. So two questions that are related to that. One is, there are other communities that are also involved in this, or other students from other communities that can also participate. Are they also going to cost share, that it's not just the city of Lawrence putting the money up front? Are other communities doing it, number one? Number two, I think all of us know what legislation is. We all know what Beacon Hill does. You put a bill in on Beacon Hill, it could be a session or two or three before something comes out. I just want to be realistic and have a fundamental understanding. If Representative Moran, and I know he's got a lot of clout, but there's also a lot of steps. I would love to hear from him directly as to what kind of time frame does he think it would take for this to get this process to get through, so that the legislation is passed, the votes are done, and then the city of Lawrence, if it puts over $300,000 or so, when can the city then get the return on its investment? So there are actually two questions.
So the idea of the city purchasing the hangar came about in a meeting with the mayor, maybe a month ago or so, 4 weeks ago or so. Have had no conversations with other communities. One of the reasons is because of the time frame it would take in order to go to each of the 4 communities in order to get this purchase. I know there is one other individual interested in purchasing the hangar, so I'm not sure how long the owner will hold off before, he said he would try to hold off as long as he can before he would consider another buyer, because he knows how important it is to the city. So at this point, it's only the city of Lawrence that I've approached through conversations with the mayor in purchasing the hangar at this time. And not that there would be other students that could also take advantage of the facility as well. I would be happy to pursue that as I go through my budget process with the communities, but it's just a long process I think would hold up the opportunity to purchase it.
My last comment, my request to the committee is this: as you vote on this evening, I expect to vote, I would encourage you to also invite Representative Moran to come here. If he's going to be the lead sponsor, and we're going to put a lot of trust that he's going to deliver $300,000, I think it'd be fair for us, on behalf of the taxpayers, to actually hear from the representative directly to find out exactly how much time is it going to take, when does he think it's going to come, those kinds of questions, so that would give us some assurances to know that this is going to actually come through. That would be my request as things go forward. I have to run, but thank you. Good stuff, thank you.
Councilor Infante?
Thank you, through you, Chair. One comment about all of this. I am very excited to see that the first word in this item is collaboration. Since from being a student at GLTS, student rep on the school committee, and then an actual member of the school committee, my biggest frustration was that we did not have a strong partnership with the city of Lawrence, knowing that most of our students came from the city of Lawrence. And I'm sure you recall that, Superintendent, I used to talk about it all the time. to the point where I started the Lawrence GLTS tours. And from that, my colleague here, through those tours, found out that we have services that for the public, which, you know, our representatives didn't know. So I'm very excited to see this. Obviously, there's other questions, but it took a while to get to this point, and I'm very, very excited to see this. And I know, I mean, I'm a living success story here, sitting on this other side of GLTS, and I know we're gonna have many more success stories, and this is just one step of what's to come in the future. So,
To that point, Stephanie, we've had more and more collaboration with the high school, with Lawrence High School, and both the principal and the superintendent, particularly starting with the After Dark program. But we also have run, which again, this year we run programs, workforce development programs for high school students who are graduating, which never happened before. So we had 30 students that graduated during the summer last year and got construction jobs, high school students. Instead of going out on the street, we put them into 300-hour programs. We're doing that again this year. Hopefully, our target is to reach 60 to 80 students. We've already been to the high school for that. We ran the most workforce development programs in the state last year, almost between $1.5 and $2 million worth of workforce development, which are 80 to 90% of the students who are in our workforce development programs in the evening are from the city of Lawrence. So we run more of those. We're looking at expanding After Dark. We're also looking at purchasing a building in the city to expand our programming, both day programming and evening program, and possibly other after-school programs, postgraduate programs, as well as a new venture that we're looking at, which will also benefit citizens in Lawrence for job opportunities. So all of it is, we think Lawrence is the one of the most important communities we could possibly work with in terms of, you know, we live and breathe to try to help our community be the best and strongest it can be, and we think high-paying jobs, well-skilled labor, going to work is going to make a big difference in the community.
Councilors, this is very exciting. I mean, I'm very happy that this is happening. Like I said at the beginning, a lot of when I actually joined the council, I have 7 years of experience worth of experience in different education system, including the school committee. But before that, I was part of a board of trustees for a charter school for 5 years. And I came over with a lot of excitement when it comes to education, because I knew that I was able to, I knew that since the get-go that I was going to be able to make a difference on a different view, and that it was not necessarily making policies for different schools, and instead, you know, collaborating with the city and different organizations. I have to say that a lot of the excitement happening throughout my years at the city council have come from the vocational schools. I was very impressed when you guys come over to tell us we need a loan, and the city need to sign on that loan as part of the 3 communities that is being served, because we want to fix the field. And we're going to be able to pay for that with the solar panel farms, or the program that you guys were running back then. And that was during my first year, and I said, wow, this is great. This is something that is definitely excited to see and be able to vote on something related to this. And after that, I was able to tour the school with Stephanie as part of the school committee, as part of the committee, the school committee there. And a lot of things happening after that. Now with this program, I was able to hear on a meeting that I was through my job, there was different program, another program similar to this in another cities and town. Right away I was able to contact Vivian during her first year on Vivian Marmol during her first year of her being on the committee, and she took over, and I'm very excited that this is happening. I'm part of the advisory committee. I'm glad that I'm there because I'm able to hear different aspects of the program, of how we're progressing. And being able to now vote on purchasing what's going to make the program go from point A, which was just an idea, a comment from someone at the state level, having a school committee member pursuing the goal, and be able to accomplish all these after a lot of work from a lot of different people, it is definitely exciting. So today I feel like, for a long time I haven't felt like I felt today, because based on a conversation we've seen things happening with the effort and the collaboration of a lot of people. So thank you so much for being able to work with different organizations, different school committee members, different segment of the city, including the mayor, including the city, including everybody else, to make this happen. So thank you. I definitely appreciate it, and make my job worth it for the next few months. I don't know until when. But I'm definitely excited. So I would like to ask you, because there were some questions regard to the feasibility of the project. I would like to go to the worst scenario, assuming that the charter cannot be changed and the city gonna have to stick with the hunger. So in case everything fall apart, which I know it's not gonna happen, because trust me, there's gonna be a lot of volunteers that is gonna be able to fund this program if it doesn't go through. How much of a rent this hunger might be able to bring to the city of Lawrence on a monthly basis in case that something fall apart and we're not able to do anything with it? So I wanted to know that data. You don't have to provide it to us now, because I know that you probably don't have it. You're not looking at that on that aspect, on that way. But I would like to know,
Sure.
how much revenue that could bring in case. And also other type of beneficial way of using the hunger in case in the future something worse happen.
Sure.
Frank Cirillo, school committee member, Methuen. Thank you for the question. And yeah, there's a lot of moving parts in this, and there's no way we're gonna, when we this close to the goal line, we're looking to fumble it. We don't have that number with us right now. We will get it, and it is about collaboration. If it wasn't because at the last minute we found out about not being able to purchase the hangar ourselves, we would have been having this conversation with all communities. I know that tomorrow we have a meeting with the Methuen mayor, and we're going to be bringing it up to him for the first time as well. So there is going to be some things that we're going to look to make. If that was to happen, where it becomes the worst case scenario, then it become more of a shared expense between our four communities.
So thank you all for supporting this, seeing this program as a potential benefit to our kids. I'm very excited about this program for the future of our students. We're going to be able to spend the amount of students that we're going to be able to serve in the school and make a difference between one of those, every single one of those students. So, Councilor, at this point, if it is any other question, I'm interested in a motion. I would like to also treat this item with the possibility of probably making this as a transfer from free cash, which is the fair, the easiest way to.
That would have to come from the mayor's office. I mean, I don't.
I'm gonna assume that we can just send it over with as a committee report and be able to get that information from you eventually.
Right now, it looks like this is just information from the council that GLTS would like the city to cooperate to purchase a piece of property. It's not a request to transfer funds for that. It's just to discuss it, I guess. So I think I'm not really sure. I mean, maybe a friendly amendment, maybe some communication to the mayor's office, and maybe at the time, a friendly amendment can be made to transfer it from free
Sure.
cash. But right now, it's just an item for discussion.
All right, no problem. So at this point, councilors, two things that we might be able to do. We can send this over as a committee report to inform the other councilors as of what is happening. We can also invite Representative Moran to talk about the charter change at the state level, and we can send correspondence to the mayor's office to get more clarity as of how we're going to be able to fund the purchase of this hangar. Three. I mean, 2 and 1, so it's cool with 3. ABC, yeah. The first thing we need to do is send correspondence to the mayor to send information to the full council, because we're going to be sending it over for next meeting on regard to a clarification on the funds, also how we're going to buy this property. The second will be, or B, would be to invite Representative Moran to explain to us the process, also how we can how we can change the charter to be able to get this transfer eventually from Lawrence to the city of Lawrence to GLTS. And the next one will be to send it over as a committee report to inform the other councilors.
Council, if I just suggest maybe copying a city attorney. If the GLTS couldn't buy property outside there, maybe we can't buy property outside the city. Maybe we want to ask city attorney to make sure we can purchase the hangar.
Sure, we can send that over to the city attorney. Can invite the city attorney to our meeting. All right, there is a motion on the table with all those 4 things, A, B, C, and D. Discussion. I hear no discussion, no questions. Any questions, councilors? I hear no, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
There is no more items on this, for this meeting. We have a motion to adjourn and properly second. I call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 The ayes have it.